All right, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Racers News Network Live. Just a couple minutes, we're going to be talking to DINO Lawrence, who also works with Wayne from our favorite track, Lebanon Valley Dragway, putting on the Dover Drag Reunion. And they got a whole bunch of other stuff that they're going to be working on this year, plus a redesign, if you will, of the winner's circle at Lebanon Valley. So we'll be talking about all of that coming up very soon. But of course, got to say hi to my partner in crime, Mr. Sanka, sir.
Hi guys, how are you?
He's back in the Northeast with the regular people.
Yeah, it's tough to come
Yeah.
back. Although while I was gone, it was warmer here than it was down there. So go figure.
Did you guys have some storms blow through?
We
Where you
didn't.
were
It
down?
was south of us,
It was south of
and
you.
they were pretty crazy. But we didn't get anything.
As I say, because I saw it, as you know, I watch those webcams and drive myself crazy because the weather's so nice compared to up here. But yeah, I was watching one from Port Canaveral, and it was, I don't know, it looked like probably 6 or 8 foot seas out there.
I can tell you, I'm happy that we didn't fly in and out of Fort Lauderdale. That's for sure.
That's right too. They were underwater. The airport
They were
was underwater.
underwater. It was funny. The news was showing like this cell come across the state, and it just parked right on top of Fort Lauderdale and just dumped for like a day. It was crazy. And we were out by the pool a couple hours north. Like, I don't know what's going on down there.
Sucks to be you. Pretty much, right?
Yep.
Cool. So we got a lot of stuff we're going to get to tonight. Of course, we'll have results from the 4 wides. A little bit of controversy with the top fuel staging stuff that some people are beating up. But one of the things I did want to start off with was Jeff Turk had a testing crash. I think the long and short of it was a chute failure. He's okay. Car's not okay, but they had it stripped down to bare metal in like less than a day.
Yep.
So, but the most important part is Jeff is okay. And actually, I've been talking to him over the past few weeks about trying to get him to come on. Hopefully it'll all work out because obviously the debut of the Factory X cars was going to be next week. Well, this weekend coming at the 4 wides in Charlotte. So he may have a tiny bit more time on his hands. So we'll see
I would say.
Well, like I said, most important thing is, he's all set, even though some people were beating the crap out of the poor guy for crashing his race car. But
yeah, I mean, it's you know what, even if for a fact it's driver error, I still don't think there's any point in pointing that out. The driver, I mean, the driver knows if he or she made a mistake or not. I don't feel as though it was driver error. I definitely don't agree with a lot of what was said. And if I'm going to pick someone's side to be on, I'm going to go with what the driver said, and not that he needed to do it. But his explanation was very thorough as to what happened. And once he explained what he felt, and then you watch the video, it's kind of hard to argue with what he's saying.
yeah,
And that's one of the things that's frustrating about people that will just chirp without knowing what's going on. I mean, I don't know what the money loss was. Like you said, obviously the most important thing is he didn't get hurt. But financially, I don't care if you could afford it or not. That's a kick in the ass. And not only does it hurt financially, but his racing plans, his schedule, what he had going on, it sucks. And I don't really think it's necessary to say, oh, when he went for the chutes, he turned the wheel and that's why he crashed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just my thing, I guess.
One of the things I think we'll get into down the road is the whole carbon fiber brake thing.
Yep.
Versus obviously metallic rotors. I mean, I
Right.
know metallic rotors, they don't handle heat well at all
Correct.
for the most part, but it seems like, it's one of those gray areas for the as little as I know about carbon fiber brake
I
rotors.
I got to be honest with you. I don't know a whole hell of a lot about them either. I heard that they suck until they get heat in them, but they get heat in them very easy, and then once they do, they grab like crazy. Um, Again, I've never driven a car with carbon brakes on it, so I can't tell you firsthand.
Yep.
Um, I mean, all the pros and all the people that are going fast use them. I would imagine that if it was the first time you were racing a car with carbon brakes on it, there would definitely be some type of a learning curve as to what they like and what they don't. I would also imagine that while you're in that learning curve, you would not want to be in a panic situation. So, to
Right.
me, it just sounded like a perfect storm of brakes that he wasn't used to, a car that he wasn't used to, going that fast with such a high center of gravity, parachute location. I mean, it sounded
I
like it
like
was just a culmination of crap that happened to the poor guy.
yeah, it was like almost like the perfect storm of whatever
Yeah,
was
the
gonna
perfect
could go
terrible
wrong,
storm.
did
Yeah.
go wrong for him.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, like I said, the most important thing is he's okay. That's all that matters.
I
Um,
will tell you that I thought what was very cool was him talking about the high center line of the crankshaft and the ride heights of the cars and where they like to be to work, but it makes them a little unstable at the other end. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm really interested in.
right.
So not ever being anywhere near one of those cars up close. It was pretty cool to hear some of those specifics of the car. It was cool to learn.
Yeah, get a little insight on
Yeah, without a
how the
doubt.
cars are put together and set up. Few things before we get rolling. We want to say thank you to our friend Lorenzo Martin from North Carolina Braca Racing. Sent us
Yes.
a couple of stickers. So I wanted to give Lorenzo a shout out and say thank you very much. It wasn't expected, but it was definitely appreciated.
Yeah, and I got mine while I was away. And believe it or not, I just opened up the envelope this afternoon when I got to the shop and I saw it. So very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you very much for him. The other thing, we also had our first um contest this past weekend for the guessing game for the 2023 version for the Division One Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series divisional events. And Bob, God, I hope I'm going to say his last name right, Gaetano, Gaetano. I hope I'm saying it right.
Gaetano.
Gaetano.
Yeah.
Okay. He won. He guessed 328, 327. He was closest. That's the most
He
important
guessed
thing.
328, and I believe it was 326.
Yeah. He
And I was
close.
pissed because I would have guessed 327, but I was too busy being a smartass. So
Yeah. Well, Pete went with his first instinct of 500, and it didn't work out very well for him.
not so much.
So what we did this year was we had a lot of stuff left over from last year. I mean, like we got a ton of stuff left over. So I put together these little gift packs. They got hat, t-shirt, stickers, all kinds of stuff in it. I got them in a bunch of different sizes. One size I am officially out of is extra large. That is one choice of the gift. The second thing we are doing is I bought a case of tumblers. Stainless steel on the inside. They have the the straw, and the little scrubby brush for the straw. And we're gonna put the show on one side, Racers News Network Live or RNN Live, whatever the boss out there decides. And then on the other side is gonna have each one of our sponsors. Each cup is gonna have its own sponsor, if you will. And then what I'm gonna do is if you decide to choose the tumbler, it's going to go in this box right here, and I'm just going to randomly grab one and send it to you if that is what you choose. So
I
getting
like
a little creative. So, and I would like to apologize for not doing a show last week, but last week was kind of a mess in my universe without getting into it. So I needed to take a break, and that was the method to that madness. So, oh, one more thing. Then we're gonna get to talking about Dover Drag Reunion and everything going on with nostalgia stuff at Lebanon Valley. This is our last official bi-weekly trivia question. We're going to do some here and there throughout the year as time allows. Of course, I got to thank Billy Kleinsfin for doing this. He puts these all together on his own. So this week, and I will attempt to type it up and put it on our Facebook page once Pete starts talking to DINO. All right, listen carefully. These two NHRA Division III brothers both scored their first career national event wins at the U.S. Nationals, with the younger brother winning in Super Gas and the older brother in Supercomp. Who are these two brothers? If you're listening, you can type your answer to myself or to Billy. And like I said, once Pete takes over, I'm going to put it up on our page, and you guys can.
Hopefully someone will answer that before you have to type it all out.
I'll probably know. What'll happen as soon as I hit enter,
Yeah.
and
Right.
finish typing it, hit enter, then somebody will answer it. All right, so with that, we now move on to the man of the hour. And of course, I'm talking about DINO Lawrence from the Dover Drag Reunion. And the great thing about DINO is that he's very shy.
Yeah,
He's very quiet. He's very mellow. So it's going to be a little bit of a tough interview for Pete. So in other words, Pete, guess what? You get to say hi to him, and that's all it's going to take, and he's going to be off and running.
That's my kind of interview right there.
DINO, do anything.
So DINO, welcome.
Hi, fans. I'm supposed to be nice and quiet and shy. That's a bunch of crap.
DINO, welcome to the show. How are you?
Live and kicking.
Excellent.
I'm the world's oldest teenager. Everybody knows that. I just want to give a few of these social media keyboard freaks a couple of tips instead of asking me 1,000 questions.
All
If
right.
you want to see 5,000 archived all Dover photographs, it takes a while to load, but they're all Dover from people that sent us stuff from all over the country, you know, going through the garages and everything. DoverDragStrip.com homepage, top right, click on galleries. All the collections are by the people's last name, and you're going to need a cooler and a bag of chips because you'll be there for hours. We have a new last summer Dover Drag Strip Memories page on Facebook, and I am the administrator, and I will either say yes or no after I do the deep search and find out that you're not some guy from India trying to sell me t-shirts. And of course, the real main place to find all the upgrades, all the latest news is the Dover Drag Strip Facebook page. Got over 5,000 followers on it now. I boosted posts on there and hit 141,000. And that's where you find the stuff.
Very cool.
There's a whole bunch of changes that we're thinking about doing for the 15th annual Dover Drag Strip Nostalgia Drags held at Lebanon Valley Dragway in West Lebanon, New York. Now, everybody calls it the reunion. I'm going to clear one thing up. We called it the Dover Drag Strip Nostalgia Drags way back in 2009 when we started at Island Dragway out of respect for Mark Mastriani and James Grove, Smokey and Grover. They were both original officials at the track way back in the early 60s.
Yep.
They ran the original Dover reunion that started in, I think it was 1991. It's the longest running reunion for a racetrack in the whole country. Now, Mark passed away a couple of years ago. They we're running it at Marcus Dairy in Danbury, Connecticut once a year. And what happened was they'd have a car show at the end of the year and they'd call it the Dover Reunion embedded in their car show. Whole bunch of Dover guys with their old car that they don't race or their new car said, let's go racing again. And so, long story, we ended up having the first Dover drag strip nostalgia drags at Island Dragway. We ran there 2 years. They continued on with the reunion. Now, Marcus Dairy got torn down. They moved it up to Big Al's Toy Box in Gaylordsville, ran it there for a couple of years, and we decided, the two families, to merge it with the Dover Drag Strip Nostalgia Drags. So the real title of the whole thing is the Dover Drag Strip Nostalgia Drags and Dover Reunion. Everybody says reunion because it's easier to say,
Right.
Nostalgia Drags, blah, blah, blah. We've
Yeah,
done
yeah.
it for 11 years. No, wait, we started in 2011 at Lebanon Valley, and this will be our 15th year. And every year it just grows and grows. First, it was a 1-day event, then it was a 2-day event. Then we added a car show. Then we went to 3 days. Then we added a rock band on Saturday night in the Speedway Clubhouse. Then we started adding funny cars and front engine dragsters and Jim Odie's group of supercharged gassers. And it's immense. It's what I'm going to call the Northeast premier nostalgia event. So I've got so much stuff I could say and probably waste the whole time here. So you hit me with a question. It's probably a question. There's no stupid questions. It's probably a question a lot of people would ask. And whatever it is, I'm the answer man today.
Awesome. Well, obviously, there's no real introduction that needs to be had because I think everyone already figured out that you're in charge of the Dover Nostalgia Drags and Reunion that takes place in Lebanon Valley.
Right.
You've worked hand in hand with Wayne over the years to grow the show and make it what it is, and will probably only get bigger in the future if I had to guess. First question would be, and probably the most important, what are the dates for 2023?
That's funny. That's why I try to tell these guys on social media. My father used to say, and he was a teacher in the reserves after he was in World War II. Read the problem, RTB. So we always get our date up at probably October or November. Me and Wayne scan all Division I, everything else, and as soon as NHRA tells him the dates, then he gets it to me. So our date has been at the top of the Dover Drag Strip Facebook page since last October.
Very nice.
And I get a comment, is this an event? Where is it? So look at the top of the page, ding dong. It's September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
Excellent. Excellent. So I am a fan. I want to attend.
Okay.
What could I expect to see?
Holy crap. Are you ready?
Give us a condensed version.
There is no condensed version with me. I'm motor mouth. Okay.
We get there on Friday. What are we going to see?
Okay. On Friday is pretty much a test and tune.
Okay.
They're going to have the front gate closed and everybody enters at 1 o'clock through the race car gate and then come all the way up. Now, there'll be guys camping out since Wednesday night because Lebanon Valley runs 4 days a week.
Yep.
That'll be test and tune, parking and all that good stuff. And I think they'll put the cars on the track about 3 o'clock and run until they can't run no more. And then we'll all go to bed and not have a Bud Light. Okay. So the next thing that happens is the doors will now blow open at about 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. Spectator gate will be open. And I wish I had a lot more pictures, but sometimes I have too many coffees and get there a little late. And the girls haven't opened up the tech window, but the cars are backed around the big horseshoe on their lot and then down all the way Route 20, All you can
Wow.
see is trailers. So it's test and tune on Saturday. It's going to be a gambler's race with 100% payback. The no drama guys that are just so much fun,
Yep.
that they'll be running a points race on Saturday. Nito will be there running a points race on Saturday, and it'll be test and tune all day long. And you never know what's going to be tested, because I've been talking to a lot of our exhibition, guys. You'll probably see test runs for a couple funny cars. The East Coast Fuelers will be there, the Blown Gassers, and my Extreme Altereds, they'll be there.
All right.
And then just about everything else going on. One of our most popular eliminators is 4-speed, the high winded gear jammers. If you get in the 4-speed eliminator, you better not have an automatic. It's just not going to work. All our eliminators are no box, except for some people that have to do their delay box. And we do have a separate eliminator for electronics. We have a separate eliminator for gassers. And as you can see, I will show you live in living color. If you can see this jacket, can you see that? I can't see it. There it is. That is what we've been doing since we started. All the eliminator guys get an eliminator jacket and a whole bunch of other goodies. On Sunday, after well, not me, I don't have hangovers anymore, but we will have the flashback party in the Speedway Clubhouse, and that's got a 70-foot bar, and we'll have I believe the name of the band is 60s Experience, and the girl singer is just unbelievable. She sounds just like Grace Slick. So it's going to be a 50s, 60s style hippie type party on Saturday night. And then Sunday morning, Wayne pushes the button and here we go. Everybody will only get one time trial in the morning. About 12:30, we're going to kick off all the exhibition cars, funny cars. Oh, funny cars. We kind of dedicated this race to the women of drag racing. And we're going to have the first Blonde Bombshell Nostalgia Funny Car Shootout. And we've got 2 girl drivers coming. All that information is on the Facebook page, so you don't hear me just repeat things. And we'll have the backup girl contest. That's always fun. And I'm bringing back, by popular demand, the ever popular girl eliminator, the powder puff eliminator. They'll get a jacket like this, but it'll be pink. I don't think there'll be Bud Lights in pockets, but anyway. And we've got a couple girls that'll be helping me in my ever popular goodie booth, which will have all kinds of event souvenirs and fun stuff. All the stuff from my dragstripsgone.com nostalgia web store. You can go there and browse around too. But it's a nonstop drum solo on Sunday. Ted Papsina from Nostalgia Drag World magazine said, I can't cover everything. You got funny cars running at the same time. You got a lot of vendors selling some really cool stuff. You got the car show rocking and rolling on Sunday, and that's pre-90 cars. Everything on the lot will be 33 years old. And we usually pack them in with that. And we always have the proceeds of that car show to benefit a nice charity, which I have yet to divulge, but that's a big secret. I just keep you hanging.
Nice.
We'll probably have at least 300 Rod's Custom Street Machines in there, plus our drag alley, which is Nostalgia Race Car Display. That's free to participate. We're not going to charge you guys to bring out something that's really cool. A car show has to, finance itself with trophies and dash plaques and all that good stuff. But we know those cars are out there. Some of the owners are a little bit on an age, but bring them out. If they're under construction, I don't care if you dragged it out of the barn and it's got hay and dirt all over it. People want to see the old stuff. This is the Nostalgia Race Car Display for non-racing cars. And we
Nice.
usually get a lot of participation from different groups like Connecticut Dragway, South Glen Falls. And it's just a fun little museum deal going on there. And you never know what other surprises I'm going to put on you, because I've done that a lot. We'll have special cars on display, and on and on and on. But if anybody's been there, they can say, yeah, it's cool. It's nothing like it. It's not just a car show. It's not just a drag race. It's not just, it's everything.
Right, right.
But
So
we'll
how
have,
many racers do you usually get throughout the weekend? If you had to put a car count on it.
okay, there's different come and goes, let me say that.
Yeah.
On Saturday, there'll be guys in for test and tune and run the gamblers race, and they're not interested in running the eliminator, and some of them leave on Saturday. Then
Yeah.
on Sunday, a lot of the guys from No Drama that ran on Saturday, and the NITO guys, the NITO will be running their own eliminators. They'll be there. Average somewhere around 300 cars running down the track.
Wow, very nice.
Plus our four funny cars, four altereds, four blown gassers, and a whole bunch of guys from the East Coast fuelers. And you never know who's going to show up. We get cars at our event that some of these guys might only race 2 or 3 times a year. They're
Sure.
not into point systems. And most of them aren't into the delay boxes, but it's their kind of race. I always say, come to a nostalgia race and see a lot of bald guys wandering around talking to themselves in the pits. But it's what it is. It's a themed event. And through the years, we pretty much shaved all the excess baggage off and fine-tuned everything. And we're going to be announcing a new eliminator breakdown for this year that is, all the changes are only for the good and to make the show go smoother.
It's crazy when you think about 1990 as being 33 years old, right?
Yeah.
To me, when I hear 1990, I'm thinking, oh, that's a 10 or 15-year-old car. You know, it's not.
Okay, how old are you? Where
I'm
were
50.
you? Okay, so you were about 20 in 90, right?
Yeah, I was born in 73. So in 93, I was 20.
Okay, I started announcing at Dover just after I graduated from high school in Cross River, New York. And don't you know, our team used to be called the Indians, but they don't call them that anymore.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know. We won't get into that crap. But I started in 67 to 72, I announced. And it was really funny how that happened. I was going up there before I even had a license with my little paint box, because everybody knows I do custom stuff. If you want to see that Facebook page, go to Carolina Signworks or go to DINO's Custom Paintworks. Another cheap plug. But
Nothing wrong with that.
I would go up there in 66 and wander around the pits and pinstripe hoods and put girls' names on, you know, a dash, your dash box, stuff like that.
Yep.
And so 67, the announcer didn't show up. And I'm standing there at the gasser and modified production pits. And I put up my hand and said, I'll do it. And that was the start of it. You know, welcome to Dover Drag Strip. Sunday will never be the same. And DINO with you, the fastest mouth in the East. So full time coming up to 9:05. No, that's my FM voice. But, and it just went on from there. And after I moved down to North Carolina in 93, I had pretty much forgotten all about Dover. And I started getting all these calls. You got any pictures? You got any old trophies? So I had a computer freak working for me that was very good. I says, can you put one of those bloggy things on the internet? He says, yeah, sure. The forum. The forum now has over 4,000 posts with 30,000 comments.
Wow.
It started in 2009, and I keep it up. Many of the guys that posted are no longer with us. And social media pretty much quieted it all down after a couple of years, but I keep it up because you can use the search feature on our forum and put in a driver's name. Say you put in Bobby Lagana or Fred Egloff Al Hoffman, or say one of the old cars like the Shotgun Express or something.
Right.
It is just a treasure trove of historical truth. There's stories on there that are unbelievable by the people that were really there and really know. Like the famous Black Arrow was never owned by Grumpy Jenkins. He was a hired gun. It was owned by Doc Burgess, a veterinarian in Wingdale.
Yep.
Doc got the bug in 1963 when he won the stock points championship at the track with his street car. And he bought a car. People know where he got it from. I believe it was Stiles or Stahl or somebody. And I lettered the car twice. I did a lot of lettering up the track, but Bill Smurdick just dispelled all the false stuff. Oh, Jenkins owned the car. No, he didn't. It was named after his parents' boat. He went and won out in the Winter Nationals. Didn't tell Doc. Won a Hawaii trip out to Hawaii. He parked the car someplace and then brought it back. And you'll notice when I lettered it, Jenkins' competition was off the car and Styles' performance was on it.
Oh, okay.
But there's all kinds of historical photos and everything else there. That's where all the history of Dover can be found. And the funny thing is, this year will be our 15th annual Nostalgia Drags. And that's how many years Dover was open. So we just matched it.
Oh, very cool.
And one thing led to another, and it's like dominoes and everything. Just now it's nuts.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds to me like if you guys are in a mood for 3 days of nostalgia, car shows, drag racing, pretty much of any flavor that you're looking for, the end of September is where you want to be at Lebanon Valley.
Yeah, just go to our Facebook page. Take the time to scroll down and scroll down, scroll down. I try to link as much guys' photography galleries and links to whatever they did. There's thousands of pictures of our event. There's movies. There's we've been featured in so many different magazines, Drag Illustrated, and on, but they're all there. You just, get a cooler, bag of chips, sit down and take the time to go searching around. And they hit photos at our page. Look out, your computer probably smoke, but it's all there. And I always am looking for wonderful sponsors. I have to welcome some of our new sponsors this year. Back again, Moroso Performance. Dick Moroso started at our track with 2 street Corvettes. And as he gained fame and became a record holder, Dick would come up in the tower, give me $20 and say, I'm going to record run at Easterstown next week. Don't announce my times. Because if I didn't tell you what they did, truthfully, through the microphone, 18 miles per hour, or you looked at their handwritten time slip, we had no scoreboards. So that's my introduction to Moroso. And now Rick's daughter, Penny, is running the marketing. She's a peach. Don's Speed Shop, the oldest speed shop in New England, they're back again. He'll probably have the old Gold Rush on display. I got Glory Days Fiberglass out of Pennsylvania. Great people.
The nose that's on my car is from Glory Days.
He's a cool guy.
Yep.
He's there for the fun. And that's what it is, a big party. Everybody's cooking up a storm. And Hillary Hot Rods, Tom Hillary, he'll be back again. Rolling Chassis, that's Ben Gregory way up in New York. Place is wide open. Troy Levy works for him. And Troy's going to be bringing 2 Altereds, and he's going to drive both of them. We're going to have to stagger the eliminators so he can hop out of one and get in the other.
Wow.
And one of our cool sponsors new this year, he's actually the title sponsor for our car show, is a guy named John Abrams. You might not know him, but if you look up John Abrams, Haggerty Insurance on Facebook or Google, whatever, 4 years in a row, he's been the top classic and custom car Haggerty real estate agent. And the guy used to his father used to race at Dover. I mean, we connect the dots with this stuff, and it's unbelievable.
Right,
Don
right.
Sinner will be back. Don started racing at Dover with some beat up looking Oldsmobile and went on to run, Don Sinner Automotive. He's still alive and kicking, and he'll be up there racing his Camaro. I'm looking down the list. We'll have all the guys from Fred's Speed Shop, Racing Junks back on board with us as usual.
Nice.
Trying to get them to bring the Racing Junk girls for their booth. I don't know. A sexist would say, but
I got, it's funny because a couple of years ago when I first got my car painted, I was in the Racing Junk calendar. And I have a couple of calendars with them
oh, cool.
next to the car. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, they're supporting the track, and they've supported us for many years. We're talking again with the S&W race cars. They've been sponsoring us since 2016, I believe. And I got a whole list of people that I'm still going to call. And once I get everything nailed down, I will do a PR blitz that will knock your socks off. I'm on 91 different groups. And once we get the final artwork and everything done, then I'm going to pull the trigger on it, because I'm a PhD at promoting hustling daddy.
So I need you to do me a favor,
No.
please, pretty please.
Okay.
If you can, when we're done with this, if you could go on our page,
Yeah,
and I want you to put links to everything that you've talked about.
that's easy.
Yeah, including your, pinstriping and the stuff that you do. One thing that I noticed a lot of our viewers like is they love drag racing history.
Oh,
So
you got it.
any links and stuff that you could pop up there that'll give them some stuff to look at, they'll love it.
Okay. I got plenty of stuff to tell you too. I don't know how much time we got left. You can tell me that.
You got like another 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Past couple of years, Wayne and I have really collaborated on a lot of stuff, and I do most of the graphics and artwork for events at Lebanon, of course, my own. And so this is Muscle Mania. Okay, that's going to be coming up, and that replaces the Muscle Palooza.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we'll be up there May 28th for that, and we'll see if you can see that. It's kind of funky on the camera. He's bringing back the Funny Car Spring Classic at that event, and then of course there's always good old Night of Fire.
Night of Fire, yeah.
I'll put links to all that stuff. And then I'm going to give a shameless commercial. Last year, for the first time in 14 years, Sunday, we had a little bit of an afternoon rain out. And so we had to shut everything down, including my goodie booth with your souvenir events, never to be printed again, limited edition, collector's item, event t-shirt.
Yep.
So I got a whole bunch of them left over. So if you can see that, there's the t-shirt. You go to dragstripsgone.com. You not only get the t-shirt for a ridiculous price, because I got to clear out the stock room. You get a dash plaque, and I did this. This is fun. I survived because whoever is still there. So dragstripsgone.com. And of course, if you go to dragstripsgone.com, you hope, of course, because it's mine, there's a lot of Dover goodies. And we'll give you all the links. Let you guys do the homework. Are you going to bring your car?
It's funny because I just went over my racing schedule, and I have everything planned out until the first week of September, which is when I go back to school, because I got the summers off, obviously. So I definitely wouldn't be able to be there Friday.
But that's for the early guys trying to get a good spot.
Right, but to get there Friday afternoon and do the Saturday Sunday deal, yeah, it's definitely, I would love to check it out.
Yeah, because is that your car in the back?
That is.
Well, that's just, it's perfect. Perfect for our weekend.
Yeah, no, I'd like to come because it's funny because I have a lot of friends around this area, and they all get together in a car and they go up for one of the 2 days just to spectate. I'm not sure if it's Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday's the big day.
Yep.
It all depends. We are going to expand, and this might bring more in on Saturday to get the early bird gets the worm type thing. We've always had a swap meet on Sunday with the
Okay.
car show. We're going to expand that into Saturday. So guys can either come on Sunday or set up on Saturday and be selling their old goodies for 2 days. And so Saturday, it's pretty interesting. But of course, the big eliminations stuff is on Sunday.
Right.
But there's still a lot going on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to check that out this year. I think that'd be great.
Well, I'll post on the Racing Network page, right?
Yep.
All the links. That's easy.
Dynamite. We
'Cause I have a
appreciate
black belt in Facebook.
that.
Now, the other thing you're doing is you're revamping the winner's circle at Lebanon Valley as well. Is that
Oh, that's
correct?
just part of all the stuff that I do for Wayne and the track. We design and we design all the winners checks. We design all the trackside signs. I mean, to the point where I did a 30-foot by 8-foot tall banner last year for the Speedway. And for years, I've been telling them, you got to do something with the winner's circle. The guys park in front of the old lettering from 20 years ago,
Right.
with their car, and they block it. So he's already got it planned. I mean, he's been doing a lot of renovation. They just repaved the whole spectator parking lot for thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's where they do the drifting on Friday. And that's
Oh,
where,
that's what I was
where-
going to ask you, because it's the drifting brings in a lot of cars.
Well-
And to see that nice and smooth for them, it's only going to make that event bigger.
that's the whole idea. Plus, it's where we run our car show.
Right.
So he's already got some kind of construction company or something going to jack up the whole base of the winner's circle. He's going to actually make a circle. And we did a whole new 20-foot wide sign, winner's circle sign for him. And he's got a lot of stuff he's still got to put up. But yeah, we're working I'm on the phone with him constantly for track stuff,
Yep.
my event stuff, or whatever. So there's going to be a new look with a lot of stuff when these people come in. And
Awesome.
from what I've seen, except for a few, a couple other tracks, I mean, they're putting a lot of money into that track. They put brand new, I think it was last year. Was it last year? Yeah, they put brand new concrete launch pads in, everything, and
Yep.
dug up the whole thing. There's a funny picture of the cement truck.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. Good God.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was coming down the wrong lane too fast from the shutdown area, and everybody's waving him over to the other lane. So he was going too fast, swung the wheel, the whole cement truck fell on its side. It's kind of
Yeah. Yeah. It's so bizarre. You would never think in a million years that maneuver that he did 99.9% of the time would never be an issue. But when you introduce traction compound and a little bit of moisture and all, it changes everything that you know about driving down.
Oh,
And a 100,000-pound truck on top of it.
the stories I could tell you through the COVID years. I'd call Wayne up every Sunday and say, "Are you arrested yet?" He ran smooth.
Yeah.
2 straight years, 4 days a week.
Yep. Crazy, right?
The stories are hysterical. Are you arrested yet? No, but you never know who's just went 3 rounds in our pro eliminator. Who? Governor Cuomo's private classic car collection mechanic. I said, you got it. And there's more. There's 1,000 stories in the naked city, and this is just
That's hysterical. Well, Dino, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate the info, and we look forward to hearing more about what's going to go on, and then finally seeing you in September.
Yeah, we got a pin post at the Dover Facebook page. Say, watch this, share it, follow it. Don't give me a lot of funny comments. You'll know what's happening as soon as I do. I'll
Excellent.
put all those links for you guys. That'll be fun.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much
And
for your time.
I'm going to be
Shameless
looking for your
plug for us.
card.
I wear a 3X. He wears an extra large.
Yeah.
Okay, what size underwear? I mean, oh, you want some freebies?
Since we're
Oh,
getting personal, yeah, we might as well keep going, right?
yeah, no problem. I just need a message me a correct address and we'll go from there.
You are the man.
All right,
We
Dino.
appreciate
Yes,
It's
I am.
always
a-
fun to talk
That's
to you,
where I was
buddy.
born.
it.
Thank you again, Dino. Like I said, it's always a good time talking to you, and I will definitely be making it out for at least one day, maybe two. We'll see how life is treating us. So
Any kind of live streaming or just bring your camera?
yes, to both of those.
All right, we can set you all up if you want to be on the roof of the tower. I don't care.
Awesome.
Me and Stairs, unless you got a crane, me and Stairs don't exactly cooperate very well together these days.
Well, a lot of guys don't know, it's a benefit to you. One of the 8x12 signs on the far side of the track, behind it, they built a photographer's stand so that now you can get the other angle right to the start line instead of being on the spectator side.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I might
He's
have
always
to
doing
step it up
something.
and I'll have Pete carry me up to the top. And
Yeah,
bottom
we'll get you
down.
up there.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, gang.
All right,
Dino,
Dino,
thanks
thank you very
again.
much,
It was a
buddy.
pleasure.
Okay, watch for the links.
Sure will.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, bud.
All right, Dino Lawrence, our guest tonight, talking about the Dover Drag Reunion and all the other stuff they got going on at Lebanon Valley Dragway. So, and be sure to pay attention to our page, because he's going to be throwing up some links, hopefully in just a little while. Well, that'd be cool if you're able to go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I look for stuff to do because the end of August is just too early to call it quits.
Yeah.
We come up on the in what, in my opinion, is the best weather of the year. In September, and I'm looking for something to do that doesn't involve a ton of traveling or a 3 or 4 day weekend.
Right.
Because I don't have the time to give up, unfortunately.
Right,
But
especially
yeah,
at that time, because
to head up there,
off the year.
yeah, to head up there Friday afternoon, come home Sunday afternoon, bring the family up. Got plenty of stuff to look at there. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
That'd be a good time.
I got the chance to go a couple years ago, and it was definitely worth the ride.
Nice.
So, all right. So we have some results. First up, obviously, we have Cecil County. It's also the kickoff to the NHRA Division I season, for the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. All in all, it sounded like it was a pretty good weekend. They had some special visitors wandering through the pits.
Yes. So, it's funny that you say that because I got to adjust myself. My back, I blew my back out today and it's been rough. But when you posted, I had no idea who that was. I actually had to look it up. I figured it was someone with NHRA, but I didn't know to what extreme. And it's pretty extreme. I mean, he's a pretty big wheel there.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear who else joined him in the pits? Did I hear Dave Moan was there too?
Dave Moan was there. We knew that retirement wasn't going to last. He's not really back. I think he was just up, kind of, guiding the new guy.
Right. Yeah, mentoring him a little bit, which again, I had a situation where my department head retired and they couldn't get anyone to fill his shoes. He came back as a sub. Now you have to keep something in mind. Sub pay is probably about a quarter of what he was making before he retired. And he came back for the whole year at sub pay.
Mhm.
just to try and help me out and for the betterment of the program. So that when I hear that Dave Moan came back, and like you said, he's not there to work full time. He's there to help mentor the new guy, show him the ropes, kind of little bit of cushion to get him in, get him acclimated, and that's cool. I mean, that's something that he clearly doesn't have to do, but he did do it because he cares about NHRA and he cares about the sport, and it's just a testament to what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, it was Cromwell, Dave Moan. I can't recall the other guy's name. It's not one that I'd ever heard before. But somebody from the tech department. So my guess is he's from headquarters that was
Okay.
out there. Again, it's a name that I'd never heard of, versus hearing, Lonnie Grimm's name, or
Sure.
you know who that is when you hear
Yep.
that. Yeah, it sounds like Jim and his team had the track on point. There was no real major issues for the first run of the year. I mean, they had, for that part of the country, they had a storm blow through Saturday afternoon, and that was all she wrote.
Right.
But they got most of the day in. I think it was about 2 or 3 o'clock
Yep.
Saturday afternoon, and it was just, the track was too far gone for them for that time of the day
Sure.
for them to try to salvage it. So they just moved on to Sunday. So
I heard that the track is as smooth as glass. I talked to a couple of people that raced there over the weekend, and they said the track is phenomenal.
yeah, well, they had, what was it the middle of the season last year? They had Total Venue come in and just basically,
Yeah,
Put
I'm
the
not
thing
sure
up.
when that happened, but yes, I know it was recent.
yeah, put the place on kill even more than it normally is.
Right.
All right, so let's get into some results from, again, the first event in the NHRA Division I Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Divisional Racing Series. Comp Eliminator, Kevin Hodling. I'm gonna go with that. Hodling sounds pretty good.
Kevin H.
Kevin A. There you go. Yeah, we'll take the Pete method on this one.
There you
Kevin
go.
ends with a G. You're from Enrico, Virginia. There you go. Runner-up, Joe Carnescali. Number 1 qualifier, Joe Carnescali. Super stock, Brittany Bolts. Now, I don't know if that's her first Wally or not. I honestly have no idea.
Yep.
But you don't hear Brittany's name in the winner's circle very often. So congratulations to Brittany. I'm sure that was a pretty awesome thing to see. Runner-up, Joe Lisa. Number 1 qualifier, Stacy McCarty. Made the trip out from Indy.
Wow.
Yep. Stock eliminator, Ken Robinson. Runner-up, James Daniels. Number 1 qualifier, Dennis Martins. Super comp, Joe Cambria. Runner-up, Jack Sapanic of Sapanic Transmissions. And your number 1 qualifier, Daniel Bisbano. Super gas, Charlie Knopic. Jack Sapanic, and sorry, looking at the wrong thing. Kenneth Bowers, and number 1 qualifier, Ron Orban. Super Street, Mario Ditidorio.
Do my method.
Yep, Mario D from Middletown, Delaware. You are the winner.
Isn't that so much easier?
Yeah, but sometimes, you know what, I like trying to at least get the first names. I could screw them up left and right, and that's not an issue.
Yeah, right.
I usually do much better with the last names, but I'm sucking so far this year. Runner-up, Sean Frick. Number 1 qualifier, Sean Frick.
Friends of the show.
We could go Sean F from Flemington, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now, cool story. Did you hear about this with our winner and top dragster, David Batchelder?
So I will tell you what I know, which is very little. New car, royally broke his chops on the test and tune the day before, and he wound up in the hospital to get stitches.
Yeah, he
That's
took a
all I know.
digger. I don't remember. Yeah, just that in and of itself, because I think it was the middle of last week. He was putting posts and pictures up and going, this effing car and
Yeah.
going on and on.
Yep.
And I hate this thing. I want to smash it and burn it and use it as a demo derby rig. Yeah, and then what was it? Friday night, he took a digger of some fashion, ended up in the ER, had to get stitches. But he persevered and he won top dragster over Ken Moses. So congratulations on a beginning of a crappy weekend that turned out to be an awesome weekend for David Batchelor.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Number one qualifier, William Masiello. Now, Will actually had to tune that thing down.
Yes.
He did a ton of work to it over the winter.
Yep.
Made it stupid fast. Went out, I'm pretty sure it was his first hit on it. And he was like 6-0 something.
I for some reason 03 is sticking out in my head.
Yeah. But yeah, he even said, he goes, I got to slow this thing down or I'm going to just be going home.
Yeah.
So he leveled it out and number one qualifier. So congratulations to Will on that. And obviously congratulations again to David for the Wally in Top Dragster. Top Sportsman. Now we heard this kid's name an awful lot last year. We said this kid's name an awful lot last year.
We also had that kid on the show.
We also had that kid on the show. And he got the chance to race Pro Stock last year.
That is correct.
And of course, I am talking about Top Sportsman, your champion, Brandon Miller. Runner-up Ron Regal and number one qualifier Jeff Brooks. Yeah, so he won the All-Stars at Indy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Indy was a long time ago.
He did a lot of. I got news for you. In his very young career, he's been more than impressive.
He has done a lot.
Yep.
In a very short amount of time on this planet. Dragster, junior dragsters 6 to 9. Christian Handwork was your winner over Austin Butcher, and your number one qualifier also again was Austin Butcher. So congratulations to Kristen and Austin. Juniors 10 to 12. Christopher Orsini over at Landon Kennedy, and your number one qualifier was Joey Porchia. And that is your final result. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I missed one. I'm going to say the first name. It's Junior Dragsters. I want you to tell me if you can guess the last name.
Stalba. How did I do?
Just took my fun away, man.
Sorry, I knew it.
All right,
good, right?
Junior Dragsters 13 to 18. Your champion, Emily Stalba, over Charlie Blittersdorf. And your number one qualifier was Madeline Torchia. So congratulations to the next generation of Stalbos. Both those kids kill with her and her brother with the juniors.
I guarantee you, if I had to bet everything I've owned, you will hear that last name on this show again before the end of the year, at least once, if not 10 times.
Yeah, because their mom was there taking care of the kids because Tommy was out at the Million. And actually, before we do the national event results, speaking of the Million, we're going to have Jason Lawrence coming on in a couple of weeks, who was actually out there for his first Million experience. Come on and talk about that.
Yep.
And all the other crazy adventures that he seems to get himself into. So bear with me while I get the national event results from this past weekend.
I don't even know the results.
Well, it's going to be a surprise for you, sir.
It is. It is.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm
Sunday.
gonna say who won Top Fuel?
All right, take a guess.
I don't think Ashley could three-peat. I don't know. I got nothing.
Antron Brown takes home the win in Top Fuel over Steve Torrance.
Very cool.
Brittany Force was third. Got to remember this is the four wides in
Four
Vegas.
wide, right?
Where was I? Brittany Force was third, and Josh Hart was fourth. Now, before we dive into the rest of them, there was also some controversy in one of the rounds of Top Fuel where one of the racers got timed out, and everybody was like losing their minds about it.
Yeah.
So they've always run a clock, if you
Right.
will,
Right.
to get them into the lanes or onto the line and down the track.
Yeah.
What is the big controversy with that particular person going in that much slower?
I don't. I mean, I
In
know
theory,
absolutely
anyway.
nothing. But besides the fact that their machines are like incredibly impressive, I can't even pretend to remotely know what's going on. I'm gonna guess the two things would be the amount of fuel that's consumed, and it makes the front of the car lighter. And probably just a heat thing, heating the clutch, heating the engine. You know, it's if they're used to putting it in the pre-stage, having it fully staged and launching within 4 seconds, then I mean, I personally believe that these machines are so in tuned and that they have such a handle on them that if you change that 4 seconds to 14 seconds, it probably makes a difference with them.
Right. Now I've seen everything from the tune up in the motor,
Yep.
clutches, and like you mentioned, the weight distribution on the front of the car
Right.
could make it that much lighter. They burn another 5 gallons of fuel, which is basically like 50, 75 pounds.
Yeah, and honestly, Chris, I don't think that number is nearly that high as far as what they're consuming at idle.
Right.
And personally, I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there that know a lot more than me about this, but I'd be willing to bet that 10 to 15 pounds on the nose of those cars will change the way it works.
Right.
And that, you know, that 8 to 10 pounds is a very realistic number if they're idling for 15 seconds longer than normal.
Right. Because we've all seen the video, and I know I've shared it a number of times about, you know, the Top Fuel engine at idle,
Right,
you know,
right.
simulation with the water.
Yep.
And then when they hit the throttle,
Right.
you know, it's just
And that's one cylinder.
right.
Right. So now you have that times 8. And like I said, a matter of 10 seconds could really change some weight around in the car. So
Yep.
you got to remember, these cars aren't suspended. They're all
They're
hardtail.
all rigid.
They
Yep.
rely on chassis flex and all kinds of craziness. So
Mhm.
15 or 20 pounds, 10 pounds, you know, I would rather talk to a crew chief and ask them than depend on what I'm thinking. But I'll bet you 10 to 15 pounds makes a difference with those guys.
Absolutely. All right, funny card. Matt Hagan defeated Tim Wilkerson. Coming in third, John Force, and Chad Green was the 4th place finisher. It just sounds weird saying 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, I know, right?
Pro Stock. Dallas Glenn defeated Troy Coughlin. Kristen Kojera in 3rd, and Derek Kramer in 4th.
Wow.
Now, one of the cars from last year is kind of struggling a little bit.
I watched some qualifying, and she just couldn't, no matter how hard she tried, She could not get on the top half of that ladder. You know, we've seen them hit or miss. I know that friggin' knucklehead on quarter mile media.
Say that
Yeah.
name.
Screw him. I know he's you know, bagged
Not a
her,
fan.
bagged her before. She's washed up. She's all done. Then the next thing you know, she wins the next 2 championships. And I
Every
mean,
race, yeah.
we've all seen it. I mean, look at how dominant Steve Torrance was a couple of years ago. You know, last year Brittany won. How many waves have you seen? The only wave I've seen that's super consistent and you could always count on it being a wave is Keith Mayers. Right?
Yeah. Hey,
Right. I
Keith
mean,
is
he's the only
talk about
one I
wave.
know that, like, just year after year after year, you're always going to mention his name. But as far as the pros go, you know, Greg Anderson, right? Warren Johnson, Bob Glidden. I mean, we've seen so many waves come and go. John Force, Robert Height, right? You know, they come, they go. It is, but their team and her are always championship caliber, so they'll be back.
Everybody falls on their face every once in a while,
Yeah,
even us.
listen,
Even two
that's
people like us.
right. I mean that, and honestly, that's one of the things that I find the most fascinating about this sport. It's right. It's like golf. You go out and you shoot the best round of your life, and like you're ready to start inquiring about your tour card. And I'm going to make a living doing this, and then you could go out the very next day, and you don't even have a right to hold a golf bag. You know,
All you hit are
that's one of
trees.
the cool things about drag racing is just when you think you got it figured out, you know.
Kicks you right in the backside.
Yep.
All right. Top alcohol dragster. Any guesses?
No. Rich. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Tony Stewart and Rich McPhillips' car. Yep.
Yeah, Tony Stewart earns his first Wally, defeating Todd Bruce, Chris Demke in third, Mike Coughlin in fourth. So that's pretty cool.
That's, you
Some
know,
people-
I gotta say, maybe you almost have to wonder if his lack of experience helped him in the 4 wide, right? Where the people that have been racing 2 wide for 20 plus years, then all of a sudden you throw them in a 4 wide situation and it's like they're a fish out of water. Whereas Tony's only been down the track how many times? And now you throw, I mean, obviously the guy's talented with all the racing he's done combined, but he probably didn't feel nearly out of his element as a lot of people do when they go to that 4 wide. You got to wonder if that helped him, you know?
Right. He's rolling in the gate going, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Everything the
Versus-
last 2 years has been totally new. So this is just another totally new thing. What's the big deal, you know?
Yeah, versus let's just randomly pick a name, Todd Bruce. He's going in. I don't know about this.
Right. I hate this 4 wide shit.
Yeah. Now, the other cool thing is that this is like a 50-50 split. Excuse me. Some people don't like the amount of publicity Tony Stewart gets because he's Tony Stewart.
Yep.
But some people love the amount of publicity that Tony Stewart gets because he's Tony Stewart and he's bringing an extra coverage, if you will,
Sure.
coverage to, a semi-pro sportsman class.
There's two things that I think are really cool. The first thing is whenever you could take someone that goes around in circles and turn them on to drag racing and they take a liking to it, that's like a win, right? If you're a Yankee fan and you get someone really good from the Red Sox and you have them come over to the Yankees, that's like awesome, you know? And the other thing is if you're really a fan of the sport and you care about the sport in my opinion, there's no such thing as too much exposure,
Right.
right? So if all of a sudden Pete Sanka started running Top Alcohol Dragster, I would have droves and droves of 3 people behind my trailer, right? Whereas now Tony Stewart is Top Alcohol Dragster, and his pits are going to be just as deep, and he's going to have a lot of circle track people that are coming to check him out, running in a straight line, and I don't see there's any way that it could hurt anything. And then you take into consideration that he also owns a Top Fuel team. He has high caliber drivers driving for him. I mean, anytime someone like that comes in with a fan base from another sport and a checkbook that's going to help support the sport, I don't see a negative side to that.
No. No. A number of years ago, probably, 5, 6 years ago now, Kurt Busch ran Pro Stock for a short amount of time.
Right.
I mean, granted, it was like legitimately a very short amount of time, like maybe half a dozen or so races. But still, people were opening up Facebook and going, or whatever, and going, "Oh, cool! That's my driver. He's racing at Gainesville this weekend. I'm gonna go check it out."
Right. Right. And we had the same thing with Tanner Gray, right? He wins the Pro Stock Championship.
And then he hops over to the circle track.
And he hops over there, right? And that's kind of like, again, if you're a big fan of drag racing, it's like, oh, we lost one. So with
Right.
Tony, it was like, woohoo, we gained one. It's
Yep.
just, it's whatever's good for the sport. I'm a fan of.
Absolutely. All right. So, like I said, Tony Stewart, your winner in Top Alcohol Dragster, his first NHRA Wally over Todd Bruce, Chris Demke, and Mike Coughlin. Top Alcohol Funny Car, your champion from 2022, Doug Gordon, who just seems unstoppable. Over Ulf Leanders, and third, Brian Huff, and fourth, Jake Guadagnolo.
So you might not know the answer to this question, but any injected cars in Funny Car yet?
I have not heard. I'm working on a couple of things. Just waiting for stars to align to talk to somebody.
Yep.
And we'll get some input from somebody who actually knows
Cool.
about the blower cars and the injected cars. Competition eliminator, Travis Gusso over Jeff Taylor. Super Stock, Brad Burton over Trey Vetter. Stock eliminator, Kyle Rizzoli defeated John Gray. Not Division I John Gray.
Yeah, right.
Super Comp, Tanner Theobald defeated Doug Johnson. Super Gas, Tom Carlson defeated Mark Philbrook. Top Dragster, Mike McBrayer defeated Dan Taylor. And that is your results from the 4 wides in Vegas. Coming up in 2 weeks. Let me make sure I got the dates right. NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series returns to action at the Circle K NHRA 4 Wide Nationals on April 28th through the 30th at GMAX. Dun, dun.
Hold on. Where is that?
GMAX in Charlotte,
So they're doing 2 4 wides right in a row?
correct?
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
Yep. Now, I honestly don't remember. Was Vegas 4 wide last year? Or was it still under construction last year?
No. Vegas has had 4 wide for probably 4 or 5 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. Yep.
Man,
And
my brain is
what they
terrible.
usually do now, again, I'm falling way behind on keeping up on this stuff, but they usually have 2 races at each track, and 1 race is 4 wide and 1 race is 2 wide.
One is one, yeah, well,
So
normal.
I got to think for the traditionalists that aren't into the whole 4 wide thing, they got to be pretty happy that they're getting both 2 wides out of the way back to back, and then they could go back to business as usual.
Has it been that long already that they've been?
Yeah. I mean, I know I went to SEMA. Honestly, Chris, I'll bet you it's even longer than that. I'll bet you it's 6, 7 years.
Yeah, because I think you went to SEMA the first year that I went to PRI. If I remember right.
That's possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
know
probably-
that the 4 wide, I'm almost positive it obviously didn't happen when I was there. I went during the Vegas divisional. But I'm almost positive. I'll have to research that for you, but it's been a lot longer than you're thinking.
Yeah, wow.
Where does the time go, right?
Oh my God. Unbelievable. All right, so we have a winner for our trivia contest.
And you didn't have to type it up, or did you?
Oh, I had to type it up.
Yeah.
It lasted about a minute. So next time I see Taylor Nobile, I'm gonna throw like a water balloon at her or something.
Oh, did she win?
Taylor Nobile answered our trivia question. I will once again read it and I will give you the answer to said trivia question. These two Division III brothers both scored their first career national event wins at the U.S. Nationals, with the younger brother winning in Supergas and the older brother winning in Supercomp. Who are these two brothers? So again, I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it, Pete. Ding, 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 ding.
Nah, you're
ding,
good.
ding,
I'll
ding.
bypass the 10 seconds.
Bypass.
The
All
only
right.
way I would attempt that is if I could private message her so that she can tell me.
She can give you the right answer. All right, so the correct answer is Devin Eisenhower in Supergas in 2018, and his brother Nick in Supercomp in 2021.
Very cool. I would have never guessed that in 100 years.
Nor would I. That's why we have Billy.
That's right.
Billy Kleitzman, ladies and gentlemen, the trivia man with a plan.
You got to see if you could turn in one of those tumblers for a sippy cup for the baby.
Yeah, I could cut it down. Yep, that's right. I think her daughter is 8 months old. No,
Yeah,
oh no,
definitely
she's
not a
older
year
than
yet.
that. She's older than that. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
My brain is fried. It's
I
been a
know
rough
that.
couple of weeks. So
Story.
coming up next Tuesday night, see if Pete can make himself available. That's technically this was his off week, but he owed me one
What are we off cycle?
a little bit.
Yeah,
That's all right.
that happens.
That's all right. Let me just cross it out. So coming up next Tuesday night at 7:00, the young lady who had her trailer burned to the ground with her race car and all kinds of other cool stuff in it, and contributed a beadlock conversion, like literally days, like it was like 2 days after their trailer burned.
Yep.
Of course, I'm talking about Allie Pettit and her mom and dad from Duzen LLC, and also one of our sponsors right
One
here.
of our sponsors.
One of ours. I can't see it's not right.
Yep. You got it.
Right there. They sponsored our first annual PD Awards this year, and hopefully we'll be doing that again because it was actually a lot of fun. But Allie is going to come on. We're going to talk about the triple 10Ks, and also we're coming up with a new segment her and I put together. It's called a product spotlight presented by Duzen LLC. So they not only are a general machine shop, but they do their beadlock conversions, which are very popular, and I had the chance to go down and her dad showed me how they do it a while back, and it's a pretty cool process. I'm pretty good with metalworking, but that was some impressive stuff. So Allie's going to come on, and like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about the triple 10Ks coming up later this year, and some new products they have coming out, some old products that they have on the shelf that they want to let people know is available.
I like it.
So again, Allie Pettit from Duzen LLC next Tuesday night, starting at 7:00, will be joining us. pretty much wraps it up. Congratulations to everybody at Cecil County that won, including Mr. Batchelor on his rough weekend, but taking home the Wally. Everybody that won at the 4 wides, like I said, next weekend is an off weekend on the national event side. 2 weeks from this past weekend, they will be in Charlotte running 4 wide.
Very cool.
Mr. Sanka, have a fantastic evening.
You do the same, Mr. Barnes.
All right, we'll talk to you all soon. Like I said, Tuesday night next week, 7 o'clock Eastern. We're back.
Take care, guys.
Toodaloo, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you to Dino Lawrence for coming on and talking about the Dover Drag Reunion and nostalgia racing in general with us. Be sure to check out his links that he posted on our Facebook page, Racers News Network on Facebook. Have a great night. See you.